Thank you for purchasing Zolatone Polomyx PLX. This video will show you the basic techniques and equipment settings necessary to properly apply Polymix PLX, our classic multicolor paint. Polymix blends colors together to create a mottled patina with a layered and natural look, the most sophisticated and flexible multicolor finish on the market. Multicolor surfaces conceal scuffs and stains far better than solid colors. That's a major reason Polymix has been so popular with architects, designers, and facility managers for almost 50 years. With the proper surface prep and Zolatone primer, Polymix can be applied to just about any vertical interior surface: CMU, brick, tile, cinder block, plaster, MDF, and previously painted surfaces, and remains the best commercial option for walls. For new sheetrock, we recommend a minimum level 3 drywall finish. Zolatone finishes are not waterproofing and should not be used in wet areas, such as showers or where there is standing water. As with every Zolatone product, Polymix requires a white prime surface using the Zolatone primer appropriate for the substrate and conditions. Never use a tinted primer or other undercoat. We cannot stress this enough. Zolatone finishes require a white prime surface. Polymix is a multicolor finish in one container. To achieve its unique characteristics, each color has been spun into a tiny ball. These paint balls are then suspended in a water-based acrylic liquid. When you first open a can or pail of Polymix, you will see that the product may have settled. This does not mean it needs thinning. If you think the product needs thinning, stop and contact us. While it is okay to add up to 6 ounces of water per gallon when necessary, the best results will be achieved if we can test the product first in our lab. To mix Polymix, there are 3 accepted methods: stirring, boxing, or using a handheld drywall mud mixer. Never under any circumstances should you use a mechanical mixing device. This will destroy the paintballs and ruin the finish. Remember, Polymix can settle during shipping. It is best before boxing to make sure the product is well mixed using a mud mixer or stir stick. And be sure not to strain. Now the paint is ready, let's take a look at your equipment. Polymix is applied using conventional air spray equipment. To achieve the specified look and finish, a few equipment minimums need to be in place. You need a compressor that will output 6.9 cubic feet of free air per minute at 100 psi, with a continuous run feature and a stretch check of 110 to 130 psi. From the compressor to the tank, you'll need a 3/8 inch interdiameter hose. Standard length of this hose is 50 feet. Your tank needs to be a minimum 80 psi, dual regulated with a main shutoff, fluid shutoff, and air atomizing shutoff and quick disconnect. From the tank to the gun, you need a 25-foot 3/8 inch interdiameter fluid hose and 25-foot 5/16 inch interdiameter air hose. Finally, at the end of the hose you will need a gun. All settings are based on the Banks 2100 with internal mix base, 200 air cap and retain ring, with a 565 needle and a 66 SS fluid nozzle. You can also use the CA Technologies Lynx, also known as the Lynx Multicolor L100C, with a 1.8 fluid nozzle and 200 air cap. Now that you have your gear, let's get started. Pour your mixed box paint into the tank and pressurize the tank. For beginning pressure settings, refer to the application guide or can label. These instructions can also be downloaded from Zolatone.com. To prime the paint line, only the tank is pressurized. Next, get the paint flowing. Remove the internal mix air cap from the gun. With the air cap off, check that the paint streams steady and straight. Reattach the air cap, open the air atomizing valve shutoff to the gun, and with the gun half triggered, set the air pressure to the suggested start point. Dial in the paint control knob restriction. Begin at full open and turn the dial 3 full turns. On a scrap board or masking paper, check the fan size. With the gun 12 to 16 inches from the surface, the fan size should be 12 to 14 inches. Your equipment is now set up for the shear coat step. Polymix is a 2-step cross-lap application. The first step is a shear coat. Begin by working at a section that is wide as you can comfortably spray, and work west to east or east to west depending on the wall. Stand so the gun tip is 12 to 16 inches from the wall. Work with a 50% overlap with each pass. Feather the edges slightly to prevent banding. Compare the color to the control sample. The particle size will be noticeably smaller on the shear coat compared to the final. Do not skip the shear coat. This step lays a color foundation and gives Polymix its durability, wash, and repairability. For the second lap, begin at the point of the first lap and apply north to south. For this part, you will just walk the length of the wall until finished. As you go, make sure the atomized particle is consistent and the compressor is not experiencing drops in pressure. Keep a 50% overlap with each pass and a slight feathering to prevent banding. Before beginning with the second step, the pattern coat, it is important to allow the paint to become dry to touch. Times vary depending on humidity and porosity of the surface. On new drywall construction, for example, time is between 1 and 2 hours. You will see a difference in the hide characteristics. It is important at this time to look for uniformity and fix areas that did not get good coverage in the shear step. You're ready for the pattern step. Adjust the paint pressure to the pattern settings. Lower the atomizing pressure. Remove the paint control knob restriction. Step back so the gun tip is roughly 2 feet from the surface. On a scrap board or masking paper, do a quick test spray to check the particle size. You'll also notice the fan size increases. And you're set. Begin west to east or east to west. 50% overlap, gun tip square to the wall. Next, north to south. 50% overlap, gun tip square to the wall. Walk the length of the wall and you're done. You'll want to do one last check of the coverage after the finish dries. But if you followed these steps, there should be no problems. After the pattern step has dried, if an area appears uneven or too light, an X pattern can be used carefully to fill in the void. You want to see a uniform wall. Cleanup is the same as with other water-based paints, but be sure to follow the manufacturer's cleaning recommendations. If you feel you need further training, please contact us. We have dedicated technical representatives who can meet with you and provide a more intensive look at the Zolatone finishes and application process. One special note, if you are spraying more than 100 square feet, you should create a mock-up and get specifier approval. It is better to get their buy-in before you start than wait until the job is complete. Let's recap. Polymix can be applied to many surfaces but requires a minimum level 3 drywall surface. It is a 2-step cross-lap application. Remember, do not skip the shear coat step. Never mechanically mix Zolatone products. All Zolatone products require a white primed surface using the appropriate Zolatone primer. We highly recommend creating a mock-up for the specifier before application. Application instructions including pressure settings are included in the application guide and on the paint can label. And last, remember, we are always available to help. If at any time you should have a question or problem, stop and give us a call. Your success is our success.